Ethiopia's renaissance versus Eritrea's resistance. Is a new war brewing? A new Ethiopian year brings big headlines, a record export surge, the GERD's long-awaited inauguration, and new industrial capacity coming online. But across the northern frontier, Eritrea trades barbs with Addis, and troops, drones, and rhetoric raise a harder question. Are the Horn's two fiercest rivals sliding back towards conflict, or can they choose a different path? Hi, I'm Sina Exau, and this is Analytica Today. Today, we look into why tension is rising again between Ethiopia and Eritrea, just as Ethiopia celebrates national milestones. Eritrea accuses Ethiopian officials of reckless military threats. Ethiopia says it wants sea access but not war. Analysts warn that miscalculation, more than grand strategy, could light the fuse. We lay out what's new, what's driving it, why Assab matters so much, and the case for cooperation over confrontation. Ethiopia enters the new year with tailwinds. Exports have climbed, and Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, Africa's largest hydropower project, hits its ceremonial inauguration this week, after turbines began feeding the GERD in stages since 2022. Power planners and regional media project more stable baseload, lower flood risk downstream, and potential export revenue approaching $1 billion a year once fully dispatched. That's the triumph side of the story. But achievement has a shadow. In recent months, rhetoric over Red Sea access sharpened. Prime Minister Abiy publicly framed sea access as an existential issue, while also saying Ethiopia will not fight Eritrea to get it. Eritrea, excluded from the 2022 Pretoria process that ended the federal TPLF war, sees the post-war order as insecure and bestows a talk of correcting history. The risk isn't only what leaders intend, it's what hardliners, militias, and a broader incident can set off. Eritrea's official media and pro-government outlets cast Ethiopia's language as provocation. Addis counters that it's pursuing legal, negotiated options for port access. The temperature rose again this month, when Asmara accused Ethiopian authorities of reckless military threats, even as Addis showcased new domestic drone capacity, technology that, rightly or wrongly, Eritrea reads through a Red Sea lens. The Ethiopia-Eritrea relationship has never been simple. Eritrea fought a 30-year war of independence and since 1993 has been dominated by a security-first state under President Isaias Afwerki. The broader war of 1998 and 2000 left deep scars. A surprise rapprochement in 2018 found the ice, but the Tigray war of 2020 to 2022 entangled both countries again, and Eritrea's exclusion from the 2022 Pretoria Agreement was a turning point in Asmara's narrative of grievance. Since then, access to the sea has dominated the dynamics. Ethiopia's push for dependable port access isn't new, it's structural. A fast-growing, industrializing economy pays billions in logistics costs and delay penalties. Advocates argue that historic ties to Assab, pre-1993 usage, and international law principles could anchor a negotiated compensated corridor, lease special economic zone, or joint authority. Opponents counter that any corridor through Eritrea dilutes sovereignty and rewards pressure. Here, a reality check helps. Ethiopia's leadership has repeatedly said it seeks solution without war. Regional commentators note that miscalculation, not a declared campaign, poses a greater danger. The economic logic favors deals. Deep water access lowers cost for Ethiopia, transit fees, power interconnects, and joint customs can monetize geography for Ethiopia. The alternative force has proven ruinously expensive for everyone. Eritrea's governance model, no elections, indefinite national service, scrutinized politics, has kept the state cohesive but internationally isolated. Neighbors remember its readiness to project force or support allies when it perceives threats. That history is why even cautious Ethiopian statements land heavily in Asmara. For Ethiopia, the risk is strategic distraction. The country is cutting ribbons on mega projects and courting new investment. Another northern one would reroute budgets to the battlefield, scare off capital, and strain a population still recovering from the last conflict. Seasoned diplomats put in bluntly, the Red Sea is a logistics problem with economic solutions. War turns it into a humanitarian catastrophe. Ethiopia's success stories are real. Eritrea's security anxieties are real. Geography isn't going to change, but policy can. Port access can be negotiated, borders can be respected, prosperity can be shared. The alternative is a war neither side publicly wants and neither side can afford. If leaders match ambition with restraint, the Horn can turn this tense moment into a pragmatic deal. That would be a win, not just for Addis and Asmara, but for every family from Mekelle to Massawa who has paid for the region's past with their future. That is all for today. Until next time, I'm Sina Exau, and this is Analytica Today.